reproduction of this content is not allowed without the express written consent of EBH Fitness, LLC. We're back.
We'll let's go through this real quick, man. So Del Valle, because I want to get to what we have after this. So Del Valle Hanks, I'm pretty sure Fetty played the whole game, well, at least a good portion of the game on that one for sure. That one, the El Dorado, I'm sure Ray played a good game and played a lot. Canyon Teal, Jefferson, it is what it is, man. And folks, we actually went through these games, and the audio wasn't on, and I apologize for that. But there's some things we want to get to tonight that I think is going to be more attractive to people than just going over these scores. I think the last game was Chapin, El Paso High, in the top 10.
Closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I've said it before. I've said it again. Chapin have more weapons than any other school in El Paso by far. As soon as that coach figures that out and gets them going, they're gonna be scary to coach against.
So, me and you was having this conversation, and you brought up a name, and I was like, what? Because I was just looking at one area. That name is Davion Singleton. That kid has over 1,000 yards in offense. If you look at him as just a running back, you will miss the whole scenario of him.
Yeah, he does a lot of different things.
He has over 1,000 yards as a running back. He's one of the top receivers in the city, yardage-wise, and so that's impacting his rushing numbers. But he's still, even when he touches the ball, he's averaging about 12 to 15 yards every time he touches the ball.
I mean, there's a reason that kid is a multiple D1 offer kid. So, I think that a lot of times coaches make it too difficult on themselves. It was always simple for me. Figure out who your best players are, and you get them guys the ball as much as you can, any kind of way that you can. And it doesn't matter. And, trying to do I'm going to spread the ball around, I'm going to do this. No, let me find out who my best player is, and I'm going to try to design everything for him. And that's just what it is. And it's a little easier to do that when you're a basketball coach and you got, LeBron or Kobe on the team. Well,
I only got 5 players out there. I don't have to try to 12 happy, 11 happy.
As a football coach, I'm trying to get, no matter what, is the best players the ball as much as I can. And so Davion needs to be getting runs, catches. He needs to be throwing. He needs to be punt returning. And that's just what it is. And I think you out-coach yourself by trying to do a lot of the cute stuff.
Gotcha. Now, the final scores for the night that we have that came in, Irving pulls out a win over Mountain View. I'm a little surprised at that one. I'm surprised at how close the Horizon and Burgess game was. That Horizon program is coming around. But at the end of the day, a win's a win, and it's a district win, right? Pebble Hills, they molly. That was another game I watched. So I watched the Pebble Hills Montwood game, and it wasn't close. I don't know what went on. I think grades came out, so maybe that had something to do with it.
No, everybody's eligible right now. Everybody's eligible. It's an intercession. So grades ain't it. Honestly, I think Montwood had a really good senior class last year, and they were a full senior class.
Yeah.
And what happens when you have full senior classes and you lose a lot, you bring up a team that's young and you bring up a team that doesn't have a lot of varsity experience. And, we've talked about that before. When you have a team that don't have a lot of varsity experience, they still got some learning to do. And it's going to help when they get 10 games under their belt. But I also watched their quarterback go off last week against one of the top 10 teams. So it's there. Montwood hadn't totally forgot who they were.
Yeah, that's true.
Because at the end of the day, they still were, Coach Valise and then Coach Famaligi after him has grown that program into one of the better programs around town, and they're going to remember who they are sooner or later.
Yeah. And then the last game, the Franklin Eastwood game. Sit here and watch that game. Eastwood, they fumbled a touchdown. They had 2 touchdowns called back. But they lost their starting quarterback, I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yep, we watched that when he got hurt.
And
we
so
watched the backup come in.
Right now, they have their 3rd string quarterback who's probably going to have to take for the rest of the season playing. He threw a couple of bad throws. You could see the inexperience on him. But I mean, Franklin, it was smash mouth football. Ernie Powers ran the ball left, ran it right. I mean, he just ran the ball. Those running back, Franklin's ground game was the difference in their defense.
Most of the time, the ground game is the difference. And you sit up and you talk about, when you start talking about the best teams around, how much they run the ball really don't have – the run sets the tempo for the game.
Yep.
Whether they run it a lot or not, the run sets the tempo. And all the best teams run the ball a lot. You would think Eastwood, with all the success that they've had, everybody, they're a throwing team. They're a throwing team. Go check the stats. Eastwood handed the ball off a lot. They ran the ball a lot. And everything in their run game set up their pass game. So yeah, at Franklin, they ran the ball. And if I'm going to tell you that Eastwood isn't done, Coach Lopez is going to do a good job getting that 3rd stringer ready. It's going to take them a little bit. They're going to put together some pretty good game plans to still make a push to get into the playoffs.
Gotcha. Well, those are the scores. Now we want to kind of shift focus here. We said 2 weeks ago that the next show we'd have our list for postseason awards, as we kind of start looking ahead. And so, as you can see, we got a 3rd seat right here. This will be the 2nd time we've had this 3rd seat open. And so we're going to bring up Jamari Milton, starting quarterback, sophomore starting quarterback. Don't forget your microphone. Starting sophomore quarterback for Andrews High School.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Sophia, and I work here at the Spot Family Entertainment Center, the newest hangout in El Paso. Bring your family and bring your friends down here to 8500 Dyer Street, Suite 80.
This young man has, in his first year as a varsity starter, really taken an Andrews program. And I mean, you're going to get the growing pains at the beginning, but I think he's past that point and has really, I'm going to cut this on for you, and is really starting to come into his own as a player. And so, Jamari, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Definitely. So we're going to go over, and so one of the things that we've kind of did is we've identified our front runners for Player of the Year and then by position. So the front runners for Player of the Year, right now it's 20 players. In 2 weeks, that list is going to get cut to probably 5. But I wanted to make sure that these young men got the recognition for what they've done thus far in the season. And so we're going to go through this real quick, and then we're going to ask you a couple questions, right, as we go through. So Jake Fetty, quarterback from Del Valle. Ryan Estrada from El Dorado. Jamari Milton, quarterback from Andrews High School. Luke Lomelli, Eastlake High School. Dominic Soto, a DB from Eastlake High School. And I'm going to stop right there because me and you had this discussion real quick. The defense doesn't get a lot of love when you start looking at postseason awards. That young man is leading the city in tackles and interceptions.
It's big time. That's big time. He's making it happen for his team.
And then people are going to sit here and people see you sit up for me. I want you to sit up for me. But this young man right here as a sophomore is leading the city in passing yards.
Impressive.
And so in his first year as a starting quarterback. So let's continue on. You got Jordan Morales, quarterback from Hanks High School. Alex Robles, wide receiver from Hanks High School. Eduardo Lalo Carrillo, DB from Canutillo High School. Daniel Varela, Riverside High School. Ernie Powers, Franklin High School. Zamar Vargas, the young man you was talking about from San Elzario. Deontay Wetzel, wide receiver from Hanks High School. Evan Rivera, quarterback from Chapin. Davion Singleton, the running back from Chapin High School. Carlos Rojas III, wide receiver from Riverside. Saul Duarte, Austin High School. Cameron Johnson, running back from Americas High School. Jude Walker, Eastwood High School. Julian Medina, Irvin High School. And then this last young man is one of your targets, Avant Clayton, freshman wide receiver from Andrews High School. I'm going to stop right there for a second. And so that look, right, that young man is probably, he's in the top 10 in receiving yards here in the city. But he's averaging almost 16 yards of reception. And so I want to stop right there and kind of talk to you for a second. So sophomore, first game, what's going through your head?
Just don't be nervous. Just go out there and play. Been practicing all summer with the playbook.
Yeah.
Right. Just go win the game, play as a team, and get it done. There's always going to be another game after that. So.
That's a good approach. That's a good approach. So what has been the most difficult thing for you going from, obviously you transferred schools, but first year as a varsity starter, the speed of the game, like how was that transition for you?
It wasn't really a big transition. I think it's just like a little bit faster, but everything, football is football, So just go out there and play.
Okay. What you got, Coach?
I think you can attribute some of his success this year to Coach Redding over at Andrus all the way. Like I think that Quevin does a good job of slowing the game down for kids.
Talk up.
Okay. I think Quevin does a good job of slowing the game down for kids. He runs the Tony Franklin system and does it quite well. So, he's able to give kids – he's able to break the plays down to where they only have to think about a few things and make a quick decision. So that helps a young guy that they can hang their hat on something. And he's done that now at El Dorado, Bel Air, now at Andrus. He did it as a head coach in New Mexico. I think he's a guy that we need to start thinking about being a head coach somewhere. He's done it several times. So I think that he's been able to help Jabari out pretty good.
So now what has been for you, like, as you continue to go through this process, season's going on, what are some of the goals that you guys have as a team right now?
Just go win a gold ball. Opportunity's still there. Even though we lost the first district game, just practice, take everything serious. Don't take anybody as a joke. Just go play. Make sure everybody's keeping each other, like pushing each other during the week. So yes, sir.
Okay. Has there been a game on the schedule that you've had circled since you been made the starter?
The Chapin game and the DV game.
Okay.
Chapin game and DV game.
Okay.
Nobody thinks they're beatable, so I think we can beat them.
Okay. Is the audio not coming through? It should be working. All right, so we're gonna go a little bit further here on this thing. So front runners for quarterback of the year. Got sophomore Jamari Milton, 1,608 passing yards, 60.7% completion rate, 19 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on a 111 for 183 passing. Those interceptions were early.
Yes, sir.
You were still trying to learn some things, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
So, I don't know, Coach. I'd be a little nervous if I was some of these other coaches as this young man starts to really grasp that system.
Oh, definitely. You definitely got to be a little nervous when you see a young guy starting to get it. And it's funny because you can see it. You can see it when it clicks. Because at one point they're looking unsure of themselves, and at the next point they're running every aspect of everything on the field. And, you know, so definitely he's going to be somebody that they're going to start gunning for you. You're going to make their scouting report, and people are going to know some things about you. So you're going to have to keep everything in front of you. You're going to have to learn how to put everything else out of your head and just focus on the keys that your coaches is talking to you about, and because that's what you're going to go back to when the pressure gets put on. You go back and you revert to the thing that you learned first. That's what you've made a habit. So that's what you're going to have to focus on, because now you're not going to be a surprise to nobody.
So what are you looking forward to the most these next, was it like 4 weeks left, I think? These next 4 weeks, what are you looking forward to the most?
Just step up more as a team leader. You know, practice. Just keep pushing everybody to get where they have to go. They got 4 games left to beat everybody. You know, we're trying to go win a gold ball. So just go win those games. No matter what it takes to execute the game plan. You know, Coach Redding puts in good game plans for us to go win. So.
Okay. So let's finish up this list for quarterbacks. You got Jake Fetty, 1,038 passing yards, 65.4% completion rate, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions on 70 for 107 passing yards, 107 passes. And these is all through week 6. Evan Rivera, 1,547 passing yards, 68.4% completion rate, 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Jordan Morales, 1,495 passing yards, 65.2% completion rate, 17 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Luke Lomelli, 1,553 passing yards, 58.9% completion rate, 18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And then you got Rodrigo Martinez from, that is the Isleta quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. 1,062 passing yards, 55.7% completion rate, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I mean, your numbers it's not a stretch. You belong on this list, so don't let nobody tell you nothing different.
Yes, sir.
And like I said, you're leading the city right now in passing yards. Next up, front runners for running back of the year. Got Ryan Estrada with 1,308, 15.57 yards per carry, and 15 touchdowns. As opposed to the second leading rusher is Zamar Vargas at 1,291, 7.59 yards per carry. And he's got twice as many carries. I'm not a rocket scientist, but that's a big that's production. That is some serious production.
I think as we go into the playoffs, we're gonna start seeing his carries go up.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I think they're probably gonna have to. You got Carlos Rojas, the third, 907 rushing yards, 9.86 yards per carry, 12 touchdowns. Saul Duarte, 766 rushing yards, 9.58 yards per carry, and then Zarian Quarles. Did I kill his name?
Zarian
Quarles, 751 rushing yards, 8.94 yards per carry, 9 touchdowns. And Ernie Powers, 964 rushing yards, 7.71 yards per carry. So now we were talking about front runners for wide receiver. And you had to look like the freshman on there for player of the year. He's at 541 receiving yards, but he's averaging 15.91 yards of reception. Is that your big play guy?
I'm going to be honest with you.
Yes, sir, it is.
As soon as I see freshmen on the scouting report, we going after him. Like we finna go body this kid up. Like I'm gonna just be honest with you, but I was kind of a bully like that. We just finna go test him real quick.
You got Alex Robles, 648 receiving yards. Now these next 3 I'm gonna call some crazy numbers. These are like, so he's at 20.25 yards per reception. You got Davion Singleton, 475 receiving yards at 19.79. Now this one, when I saw this, I was like, wow, I did not know that he was putting up numbers like this. So on the other side of the ball is Brent Holman Jr. for Chapin. 462 receiving yards. He's averaging 27.18 yards of reception.
He just catch some touchdowns.
That is crazy. Then you got Devontae Winsel, 594 receiving yards, and Jude Walker, 569. Hearing that, like, what is that? There's talent here, right?
Yes, sir.
And knowing that, so we have a national college coaching audience. What would you say about the talent here to these coaches?
I would say that we could play with anybody that you're recruiting. So you just give us a chance. You know, we can play with anybody in the state, maybe in the nation. So.
When we look at front runners for linebacker of the year, one of the ones that stood out to me the most was Daniel Varillo from Riverside. 15 tackles a game, 4 sacks. I mean, 75 tackles. I mean, that kid's all over the field. But there's like every last one of these kids, and I mean that's going up with like Dorian. How do you pronounce the kid's last name? Aramilio. Like he was my front runner going into this year as the linebacker of the year, and he produces. And there's kids that have just stepped up, man. It's all
I think he's scoring touchdowns too on the offensive side of the ball.
I think, yeah.
He's coach's son, 3-year starter. He's been starting since he's a sophomore. He's doing what he should be doing, so that's good.
Then you got on the defensive side for defensive lineman of the year. I'll tell you, Matthew Avila has been doing some good, decent numbers, but one that surprised me the most was really Jaden Blair from Bel Air. I mean, I think he gets overlooked because they're not winning, but the kid is productive. He's productive. He's leading the city in sacks, 7 sacks right now. So, I mean, he's putting up some numbers.
He's a coach's kid too, though.
Yeah.
Daddy was a D1 guy, so he should be able to put up some numbers.
Yeah.
But it is tough to get recognition when you're playing on a team that's not doing very well. So I'm glad that you were able to get his name out there a little bit for these people. And I'm sure Coach Recorder he's gonna end up doing a pretty good job getting those guys going in the right direction. You know, he's had a little success as a head coach, so he's just going through some growing pains right now.
And then finally, I mean, I've been really impressed with the young man from Eastlake, Dominic Soto, on the DB. I've been really impressed with him. He's been really the standout on the defensive side of the ball this year for me.
Well, although he's standing out for you, if a safety's leading the defense in tackles, there's some other people that need to be standing out.
Yeah.
And we've seen some of their scores from this year, so I guess them scores could have been a lot higher if he's making it. You know, if he don't make those tackles. But you know, that tells me there's some things up front that need to get fixed because that guy's not supposed to be making those many tackles. He's supposed to be focusing on playing the pass. But now he's putting up some good numbers.
Good numbers. So I mean, again, this list will go out. It'll be on the website tomorrow, and we'll put it out on social media. But we wanted to bring in this young Oh, forgive me, excuse me, y'all. Bringing this young man on his off day. Like, this is your bye week.
Yes, sir, it is.
And you hanging out with us at almost midnight, right? I appreciate you taking the time to come out with us, man, and hopefully you got something out of this.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You got anything, Coach?
Nah, man, keep up the good work. I remember seeing you play as a youngster
know, right?
at Pointus, 7th grade. The first thing I told him was like, goodness, you stretched out.
I know. That was the first thing I said when I said, because I mean, I remember when you were younger, and like, you grew. People will look at this video and be like, he looks short, but no, he's not. Were you 5'11"? So I mean, good deal. Folks, this has been another episode of the Borderland Sports Report. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back on next week.
Yeah. I won't be in Vegas to the end of the month.
No, I say that because you know, it's not a chore, but like coming in here every Friday to do this can be challenging sometimes.
Yeah. Last week I ran into an issue.
Yeah.
Had to go to Waters to attend the funeral of the father of one of my friends, and so I ain't make it back.
and between that and then, you know, with all the stuff that's starting to ramp up for the media company, sometimes we get pulled out and have to go do some stuff. Like the last week we missed, we were in Mississippi, but that's neither here nor there. But thank you guys for tuning in. It's been another episode of Borderland Sports Report. Be blessed. We'll catch you next time.